Good day, everyone. You are welcome to this week's Business and Investment Tips program, a production of Christ Church Radio. My name is Ayodeji Ebo, an investment professional. This week, the focus is on Nigeria's Q4 2021 and full year 2021 GDP numbers. Last week, Thursday, the National Bureau of Statistics published Nigeria's fourth quarter and full year 2021 gross domestic product GDP numbers. The Nigerian economy sustained its positive performance for the fifth consecutive quarter, as real GDP growth was 3.98% year-on-year, that is Q4 2021 versus Q4 2020, although slower than the growth rate of 4.03% in Q3 2021 due to the negligible impact of COVID-19 in Q4 relative to prior quarters. On an annual basis, Nigeria's real GDP settled at 3.4% year-on-year in 2021 compared to a negative 1.92% year-on-year in 2020. This performance buttresses the fact that Nigeria is on a growth trajectory as business activities improved year-on-year despite the several variants of COVID-19. GDP tracks how an economy is doing and measures the value of all goods and services produced in an economy in a given period, usually a quarter or a year. Real GDP reflects the actual value of goods and services produced without the influence of price movements. Simply put, the GDP of a sector can be affected by both the volume of goods and services produced and the respective prices. However, what's important is the increase in goods and services produced rather than price increases. Nigeria's GDP report captures 19 sectors, but only 5 sectors account for 72.5% of total activities in the economy. These are agriculture, 25.5%, trade, 15.5%, ICT, 15.3%, manufacturing, 8.9%, and mining and quarrying, 7.3%. By broad sector, on an annual basis, the non-oil sector sustained its strong performance with 4.4% year-on-year growth in 2021 relative to 0.8% year-on-year growth in 2020. On a quarterly basis, the non-oil sector also maintained its positive momentum for the fifth consecutive quarter as it grew 4.7% year-on-year in Q4 2021, although lower than the 5.4% year-on-year recorded in Q3 2021. On the other hand, the oil sector stayed in depression for the seventh consecutive quarter with a reduction in output by 8.1% year-on-year, albeit better than the dip of 19.8% year-on-year in GDP in Q4 2020. Similarly, on an annual basis, the oil sector contracted 8.3% year-on-year for 2021, slightly lower than the 8.9% year-on-year decline in 2020. Based on the contribution of sectors to GDP, agri and industrial sectors both lost ground to the services sector. However, the growth rate in the agriculture sector improved to 3.6%, the highest in the last 8 quarters, from 1.2% in Q3 2021. The growth rate in the services sector moderated to 5.6% in Q4 2021, from 8.4% in Q3 2021. Conversely, the industry sector performance improved to negative 0.05% growth in Q4 2021 from negative 1.6% growth from last quarter. Our takeaways: 1. The base effect, that is, low GDP numbers in 2020 due to the lockdown, still played a major role in the overall positive GDP growth rate for 2021 amidst improved activities in the non-oil sector. 2. Remarkably, 18 out of the 19 sectors expanded in Q4 2021, save for the mining and quarry sector, dragged by crude, petroleum, and natural gas subsector, with 6.2% year-on-year negative growth. 3. The underwhelming growth in the crude, petroleum, and natural gas sector can be linked to low crude oil production due to the prolonged operational and maintenance issues. Nigeria's crude oil production averaged 1.2 million barrels per day in December 2021, lower than the OPEC quota of 1.7 million barrels per day and 1.9 million barrels per day estimated in the 2021 budget. 4. This implies that the country did not benefit from the higher crude oil prices within the period which impacted the projected oil revenue as well as inflows to the external reserves. 5. The growth rate in the manufacturing sector came in lower at 2.3% year-on-year in Q4 2021, the lowest in the last 3 quarters, due to milder influence of base effects amid improved economic activities. 6. The strong contribution to GDP and growth of the services sector can be attributed to the impressive performance in the ICT and financial services sectors. However, we observed a slowdown in the ICT sector, which remains at sub-pre-COVID levels. This was also reflected in the full year 2021 financial statement of the two giant telcos, MTN Nigeria and Airtel Africa, which showed a reduction in the number of active subscribers due to the logistic constraints of linking national identification number to SIM cards. 7. The improvement in business activities in Q4 2021 would have also improved loan performances as well as created more avenues for the bank to channel new loans to businesses. This may be responsible for the 25.5% year-on-year growth in the financial institution subsector in Q4 2021. Improvement in the agricultural sector regrowth rate can be linked to the harvest season in Q4 2021 amid insecurity concern in major producing states. 4 of the 14 subsectors in the manufacturing sector contracted in Q4 2021, which may be attributed to low inputs for production. 10. The trade sector sustained its positive form for the second consecutive quarter due to the opening up of the global economy and improved FX supply. We expect the GDP growth rate in 2022 to normalize due to the reduced influence of the base effect. A major distraction for the government and concern for the private sector is the preparation for the upcoming election. While we expect more government spending, though majorly funding by borrowings, the private sector, domestic and foreign, would be wary of making any major investment in the country until 2024, when there would be more clarity about our political terrain. We also expect the continued CBN intervention programs to provide a major boost for growth in 2022. Thank you for listening. Please join us same time next week for another interesting and insightful session. For comments and feedback, kindly forward to ccradio@rccgchristchurch.org or send SMS to 07082463747. Stay blessed.